Welcome back to the 2016 Northwest League Pioneer League All-Star Game. A 4-3 lead for the Pioneer League as we head to the top of the fourth inning. Roberth Fernandez, the left-hander, will be on the mound representing the Ogden Raptors. I'm Robbie Bull, happy to be joined in the booth now by the president of minor league baseball, Pat O'Connor. We've listened to you all season on the commercials. It's good to finally put a face to the voice.
You know, I learned a long time ago not to wear the same clothes to the ball game that I did on the day we taped those. We taped those all on the same day, and I do have more than one sport coat and one dress shirt, so it's good to be here. What a great event, and it's good to be with you guys.
I imagine there's a lot of office work, the business of minor league baseball. How many times do you make it to a ball game during the season?
If I see 20 to 25 games a year, it's really an exceptional year for me. I'm on the road about 150 to 175 days a year. But so much of it is the business of baseball, and this year has been unique with our lobbying effort in Washington. It's taken a considerable amount of time, and just the business of creating the environment for the Dave Baggett's and the operators of this league and these leagues to do what they do keeps me out of the ballpark more than you'd think.
Chris Peters will lead off against Roberth Fernandez. Peters struck out in the second inning and will take a pitch for a ball, 1-0. If you were to describe the state of minor league baseball today in 2016, you can tell me after this pitch outside for a ball, 2-0.
You know, I tell people there's never been a better time to be involved in minor league baseball, and I don't care from what perspective, as an owner, as a fan, as a player, as a radio broadcaster, as a TV commentator. It's just the game is clicking on all cylinders. The fans have embraced our product and our concept. The business model's working, and as I said, there's never been a better time. The relationship with Major League Baseball has never been better. There's just never been a better time to be involved.
Ball 3 outside from Roberth Fernandez. Now delivers a strike, 3-1 to Chris Peters. You've been here less than 24 hours, but I'm sure you've been to plenty of All-Star games. Your initial impressions of Ogden, Utah, and the All-Star game that the Raptors have put on? 3-1 pitch is slicing towards left center field, and that's going to head back with a bounce off the wall, and it's going to be a leadoff double for Chris Peters here in the fourth inning.
Well, this is not my first trip to Ogden, so I'm familiar with the ballpark and the city. And when I travel around the country, I tell people there are a few ballparks in minor league baseball that I would buy a ticket and go in and sit in the stadium, even if there was a game or not a game. And when I look out over the center field wall and see this vista and this view, this is one of those ballparks that I refer to quite often. The game, the logistics for the game, the accommodation to the fans and the executives and the players that are here, it's all top-notch. This has become quite a game. I had the pleasure of visiting with a couple of Major League Scouting people. They love this game. They love the fact that they take BP in infield, and they all get a chance to see these great players.
Xavier Turner with a single. It falls in front of Jahmai Jones. He's going to come up throwing to third. Peters is in safely, and Turner will advance on the throw. So it'll be a single for Xavier Turner to put runners on the corners with nobody out in the fourth inning. And the Northwest League once again in business. When you see the short season, the rookie league, these are mostly no-name people, but they're the all-stars. They are the future major leaguers. You get to the AA, AAA, it's maybe people you've heard of, but to see these no-name guys that in a few years they're going to be household names.
Well, yeah, and it's I would just take exception. They're not no-name players. They're just people I haven't heard about them yet.
There you go.
And they're quite good players at that. And this is a quality game, and the competition is very comparable, and it is competitively balanced.
Kevin Biggio, his dad was pretty good. Biggio hits that one deep to center field. Kevin, no home runs this year. He's going to bring home 2 runs and go all the way over to third. The throw not in time. And the Northwest League, just like that, has retaken the lead 5-4 and still nobody out. Just 2 years ago, Northwest League had a 0-0 tie. We're a long way from that here. Already 5-4, all 9 of these runs in the last inning and a half.
Yeah, and this is a fun game to watch as a spectator. It's a quality game, on the field, and it's good to see Kevin with the triple, but I start to feel like I've been around too long because I worked in spring training for the Astros and used to chase Kevin around the complex as a little boy. But it's great that people who make their living in this game think enough of the game to allow their siblings and kids, offspring, to join it and participate in it. Well, I think that speaks volumes about the game.
Seth Spivey, the 9-hitter, will now face Roberth Fernandez. And it's a ground ball over towards the shortstop. It'll bring home a run, but also be the first out of the inning. Now 6-4, the Northwest League leading with 1 out. When you get up in the morning, what makes you excited about your job as the president of minor league baseball?
Well, I think, a couple of things. One, that I am part of one of the greatest sports organizations on the face of the earth, participating in the greatest team sport. I have a great staff, and I represent just a fabulous group of men and women who own and operate these franchises all across the country. It is not, I do not have a right, nor does anyone have a right to be in this game. It's a privilege, and I don't take that for granted. And I'm excited every day when I get a chance to be a part of it.
Ashford Fulmer, he doubled and scored last time up just an inning ago, and now hits a first pitch single to put 1 on with 1 out here in the 4th inning. When did you get your start in baseball? How deep does baseball go in Pat O'Connor's blood?
Well, short of 16 months, since December of 1980, baseball professionally is what I've been involved in. I worked 16 months at Lamar University in the 80s. I started as an intern in 1981 in Vero Beach, Florida at Dodgertown. In fact, my general manager from that internship is here tonight. Terry Reynolds is scouting for the Reds. Terry brought me down out of the Ohio University program, and I spent the winter and the whole next season of 1981 with Terry. Went on from there for another 10 and a half, 11 years of running minor league baseball teams. Was asked by Mike Moore, then president, in 1993 to join him in the front office, which I did. I served as Mike's COO for 15 years. When he decided to retire, I was honored with the election as the 11th president all time of minor league baseball, and I've won 2 re-elections, and I'm serving my 9th year as a president of minor league baseball.
Garrett Hampson is the batter. It's a 1-0 count. Roberto Fernandez has thrown over to first base a couple of times. And we'll see if he brings it home now on the 1-0 pitch. Runner takes off. It's inside for ball 2. No, it's a called strike. The throw to second is not in time, so it'll be a stolen base for Ashford Fulmer. And Garrett Hampson will have a 1-ball, 1-strike count at the plate. When you were younger watching baseball, who were the guys that you just absolutely would not miss?
Well, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, so I was a big fan of the Big Red Machine in the 70s. I was also in Columbus, Ohio when the Pittsburgh Pirates were the AAA affiliate, and I had the privilege of watching the Bob Robertsons, Dave Cash, Freddie Patex, Richie Hebner, Manny Sanguians play in AAA baseball. Big fan of the Big Red Machine. I tell the story when I speak to young people. The coolest teacher in 12 years of education up through high school was Mrs. Stewart, my 7th grade science teacher. She wheeled in a TV and we watched the Reds and the Orioles in the World Series back when they used to play day games. Big Red Machine fan, and as you know, as fate has it, I've struck up a friendship with Johnny Bench, and when I was with Houston, Jack Billingham, one of the stalwarts off of that Big Red Machine, was my pitching coach for 7 years. So, the baseball gods have smiled friendly upon me and allowing me to, it's been a great run. I've been doing this for almost 35 years now, and never felt like I had a job, and never had a day. Physically, there's some days you just don't feel like you can do it. But when you get there and the juices start flowing, it sure beats a real job.
3 balls and 2 strikes now to Garrett Hampson. It's a full count. When you get to sit at home and just enjoy a baseball game, not having to do the business of it, is there a major league team that you like to follow?
I like
still the Reds?
I like to watch the Rays.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I like to watch the Rays. I'll be real honest with you. I don't watch a lot of baseball. I live it every day.
Hampson flies out to right field for out number 2.
But I do enjoy, I enjoy the game live. So when I do get those 20 or 25 games in, I'll come up and I'll visit with guys like you, and I try to, spend some time with the umpires and see the skippers, spend some time with owner and management. And I just like to walk the ballpark, because what we do in St. Petersburg is try to create environments like this for you to execute. We don't sell tickets, we don't sell fence signs, we don't sell promotions. But it's important that we know that what we are doing is effective and it's relevant. And so I like to get out in the ballpark.
Eric Falia will bat with 2 outs and a runner on second. The first pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. So saying Pat O'Connor goes to a baseball game to just enjoy it is a myth. You're always working anytime you're in a ballpark.
Well, this is a lifestyle and a life, and not just an avocation or a vocation.
Fulmer takes off for third. It was unoccupied. And now he'll be 90 feet away. The Northwest League leading 6-4, 3 runs in each of the third and fourth innings.
But you know, I tend to be a sponge and try to take things in for a lot of different reasons. It is relaxing being at a ballpark, you know, visiting with friends, and you know, in a position like mine, you know, all of these people are acquaintances, if not friends, but because of our schedules, you just don't get enough time with them. So it's great to have events like this where I've got, you know, 16 clubs are coming to one place, and I can attend meetings and renew friendships and talk a little business. It's really a treat for me.
2-1 count at the plate to Eric Falia, and he drops it in front of Jones for a base hit, and that will bring home Ashford Fulmer for the 7th run for the Northwest League in this ball game. And Falia with already his 2nd RBI single of the game now. Pat, you mentioned that it was 9 years now that you've been the president of minor league baseball. What's the one thing you're most proud of that the MILB has accomplished in the last 9 years with you as president?
Well, I think, you know, it's tough to wrap all of this up. And in the 15 years of COO, Mike Moore and I, you know, we did a lot of good business together. I think it is the concept that we understand the power of one, and it's coming together as 160 clubs. You know, there's quite a bit of ego, there's quite a bit of diversity and demographic and economic issues with this. So to be able to bring this group together, I think is one thing I'm very proud of. But I think in a more macro sense, you know, it's the body of work. When you think about where we've come since May of '93, when I started at the NA as Chief Operating Officer, the licensing program has hit its stride. Burco has come to fruition and maturity. Enterprises is now underway. We have a diversity program. We have, you know, meaningful charities program. We have meaningful environmental green team initiatives. And you know, it's easy to set in St. Pete and draw these things up, but to have the clubs embrace them and execute them and actively engage is really great. And I think you know, the things from a business perspective, the value of the franchises, the quality of the operations, you know, those are all things that you know, we're very proud of as an industry, and we should be.
Roberto Fernandez is going to be replaced by the right-hander Connor Gray. He's from the Missoula Osprey, an affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Connor's from New York. He was a 20th round draft pick this year from St. Bonaventure. A 4-2 record with a 4.03 ERA. 9th in the Pioneer League ERA, has the 2nd most innings pitched at 44 2/3. Couple of times this season, he's come close to a no-hitter. He took a no-hitter into the 8th inning on July 11th against Great Falls, and actually in his professional debut, he retired all 12 batters he faced over 4 innings, and then his bullpen from there took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. Pretty rare to see that at the rookie level. We're joined in the booth here by Pat O'Connor, the president of minor league baseball. When you look at the guys in the major leagues, is there any of them that you're thinking, I never thought he'd make it there? The way he wasn't as good in minor league baseball, but he's come into his own.
You know, knowing players as I do, without mentioning any specifics, these guys are all grinders. They're all extremely talented. They were the best player in high school. Chances are one of the better, if not best players in college. And the difference between getting there and not getting there is so razor thin. Mm-hmm. And some of it is just a matter of timing and numbers and opportunity.
Jacob Bosiokovic will be the first to face the right-hander Connor Gray. Has a ground out and a single today. He'll be the 8th batter of this 4th inning for the Northwest League and takes a first pitch ball. Second one on the way from Connor Gray. Runner going. It's a called strike, and the throw is going to go into center field. But Eric Falia will hold and stay at second.
And one of the things I've learned, you know, over the last 30 years is as long as that young man's got a uniform on, he's got a chance. And that uniform covers the one thing that no one can really measure, and that's his heart. You know, if you want it bad enough, it's there for you. And as long as you're getting a uniform and they tell you to keep coming back, you've got a chance. And I admire and respect that. And the odds are against them, let's face it. We all know that. You know, if you sign a pro contract, you're a pretty good darn player.
0-2, base hit into center field in front of Jahmai Jones is going to bring home run number 8. It's now a 5 spot on the board for the Northwest League here in the 4th inning. And Bosiokovic is going to have an RBI to bring home Eric Falia.
Robbie, just to lay a little baseball off on you, the most important half inning in baseball is the half inning after they score. And you got all your runs in 3 half innings.
Trying to get the shutdown inning.
You've got to get a shutdown. The Pioneer League's Northwest League needs to shut them down in the bottom half of this inning. Kind of break the momentum.
Yeah, no pressure on LJ Newsom, who's in the bullpen right now for the Northwest League, and we expect would be coming in here. Gio Brusa takes the first pitch down for a ball, 1-0. He won the home run derby out here earlier. The ball flies in this thin air, and we saw a fun home run derby just a couple of hours ago.
I mean, that's box office baseball right there. A walk-off, down to his last out.
Brusa pulls the 1-0 pitch pretty well to right field, close to where his walk-off was, and now he's going to get one that really counts. A 2-run shot for Gio Brusa. They went 7 outs in the home run derby. He had 6 outs, 1 home run, or 2 home runs actually, was tied with Ibandel Isabel and hit the walk-off, and now gets a 2-run shot that puts the Northwest in double figures at 10-4. The home run derby continues during the game, Pat.
It sure does. That was a pretty good shot. I think that's going to leave a lot of ballparks.
Come on, Pioneer, wake up!
418 feet for that home run. All 3 home runs we've seen have been over 400 feet.
A little bit of breeze blowing out, but the balls that have been out haven't been cheap. They've gotten their money's worth.
We were scoreless heading into the 3rd inning. It's now 10-4. We're in the 4th. The runs all coming in bunches. Still 2 outs. Chris Peters led off this inning with a double and then scored a run. That was off of Robert Fernandez, now facing Missoula's Connor Gray with 2 outs and the base is empty. The 1-0 pitch, ground ball over towards second, a 1-hopper. Perone over to Isabel, and that finally brings the inning to a close. 7 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and no left on base. The Northwest League now leading 10-4. Pat O'Connor, the president of minor league baseball, thanks for joining us here on the broadcast.
My pleasure, Robbie. AP, you guys doing a great job. Keep up the good work and enjoy the rest of the summer.
Okay, thank you. Bottom of the 4th when we come back.